Hello all and welcome, and I'm the MGTOW philosopher. And in this video I would like to talk about the left, the so-called progressives, and one of the crazy ideas of a leftist mayor named Lisa Helps. Well, she's taken her last name literally. She wants to help homeless people by asking people in Victoria, where she is mayor, to billet homeless people in their houses. Yes, that's right. The suggestion first came from residents who contacted the mayor after she proposed amending the city streets and traffic bylaw to remove provisions allowing people to be ticketed for sleeping in cars. Helps notes that during the Second World War, newspaper headlines urged residents to billet homeless workers who had relocated to Victoria to help with the local war effort. Of course, we're not talking about workers who just need housing temporarily. These are homeless bums, okay? These are alcoholics, drug addicts, criminals. You don't know what's wrong with these people, but just come on and let a stranger come on in and stay in your home. I mean, sure, when you get home, all your shit might be gone, but you'll feel good that you helped somebody. You helped them to your shit, which they took to the local pawn shop or they sold to a fence or something. So, win-win for the homeless guy, lose-lose for you, but at least you feel better because you helped somebody, right? She continues to say they didn't charge anything. They just opened up their spare bedrooms and invited strangers in, she wrote. Well, no. These were working-class people who actually had jobs and were established and were known and had employment with employers in that area, so a little different. Given that no purpose-built rental buildings have been built in Victoria for 30 years, and that nearly 6,000 people have moved to the city in the past 5 years, this city is facing a housing crisis, Helps said in the post. Of course, we're not talking about a housing crisis, are we? We're not talking about some person can't find some place to live, but they still have a job and make money, but they're living in their car. We're not talking about that. We're talking about bums. People with no jobs, no prospects, but come on and live in my home even though you could be an axe murderer or something. Sure, sleep on my couch. What? Is this woman insane? Oh, right. She's a liberal, so yeah, she is. What if Victorians responded in the same way to this crisis? Well, it's not the same thing, you idiot. World War II is not the same as a bunch of homeless bums who are drunks, drug addicts, or mentally ill people, or just plain lazy or criminals who don't want to work, sleeping on the street, and then you invite them to live in your home. It's not quite the same as a working-class person who's come to town specifically to work, okay? And back during World War II, where there was a sense of solidarity and community. It's a totally different time, you liberal moron. What if there was a way to connect people living in vehicles, motel rooms, or on couches with seniors, for example, living in large houses all alone? Yeah, that's a good idea. Have strong young people who are total strangers, total bums, who could be criminals, moving in with defenseless, weak, old people. Yeah, that's a recipe for success, isn't it? With retirees with an extra bedroom, or even with families with large houses and extra rooms, she wrote. Okay. This is the words of somebody who's a total moron who lacks any critical thinking skills and is just imagining up these scenarios that sound so good in her head, but she's not analyzing them at all. This is absurd. Unthinkable. She asks. Victorians stepped up to help their neighbors in the past. Why not today? Well, I don't know that some rummy sleeping in an alley necessarily qualifies as your neighbor, okay? In her post, Helps said that she would like to find people willing to participate in a focus group session. There's no commitment required other than sharing ideas. We want to build a solution for the people who will use it, for those looking for a place to stay. Why don't they get jobs and rent apartments? And if they can't then afford an apartment in Victoria, then they don't stay there. And if they're already there and homeless, You don't open your house to them because you don't know who the fuck they are, what diseases they might have, or if they're criminals or not. You don't do that. It's called enabling homeless people. You don't enable people to stay homeless. And by the way, who's going to flip the bill for this, huh? You cheap bitch? Obviously not. You want the people who own these houses, these poor old people who are on Social Security, or whoever else is stupid enough to let some unknown person come into their home. I mean, you got to pay for their food. You got to pay for their rent. I mean, it costs money to house somebody. Electricity, they're going to use electricity. Water, they're going to use water. It's not free or cheap to house people. So she wants people to do this instead of her. What about taxes? Ain't people paying taxes? Aren't there any homeless shelters? No. For those looking for a place to stay until the rental crisis, this isn't about a rental crisis, okay? People are generally homeless for reasons that don't have to do with, oh, I can't find an apartment now. I mean, they'll find something they can afford if they have a friggin' job and if they make money and work full time, okay? This woman, what she's really talking about, she's trying to usher in and convince people to house homeless people. And she's trying to say, oh, yeah, they would just be, people who are working, but they can't afford a house right now and they're sleeping in their car. That's not who most homeless people are, okay? And for those who are willing to billet someone, billet them, yeah. She's trying to make it sound like some official-sounding term, and she's using the word billet like it was used back in the World War II era to try and associate the bleeding heart liberal nonsense from back then to now. And by the way, people were working in solidarity with the war effort, trying to defeat the Nazis. So, yeah, there were actual good reasons to try and bring workers into the area where the war effort, production and manufacturing efforts and everything to support the war were being done. Housing didn't exist, and the state called on people to provide some help with housing. That's not the same as some homeless dude drinking a bottle of Thunderbird, doesn't want to get a job because he's a drug addict or a fucking alcoholic. Oh, come sleep on my couch! and then you get your throat slit in the middle of the night. What a dumb bitch this is. All that we're going to do now is hold a focus group to see how this idea holds up and if it has merit. And is this something that should be explored? No. I mean, you really need a focus group and to talk to other people because you're too stupid to use your own brain to analyze the situation to tell you that it's a bad idea. Help said that she has been contacted by homeowners almost as soon as she put this up in her blog. Yeah, dumb liberals who are just so anxious to let homeless people live with them because they've been brainwashed by the media to believe that it's a good thing to help the poor oppressed people, even if those poor oppressed people are in that situation because of their own bad choices. Yeah, I'm a drug addict. Oh, I'm an alcoholic. Oh, I'm just lazy. Oh, I'm a criminal. Oh, I always take the easy path. And, I don't feel like working, or I'm just some lazy bum. But, you're going to give me a place to stay. And so I'll continue to be a lazy bum. Yet that's a good way to encourage people not to be lazy bums by enabling them to continue to be lazy bums. And by the way, when people asked this woman if she would billet homeless people, you know what she said? Nah. My house, she made up this bullshit excuse about, I'm the mayor and I have lots of confidential mayor-type stuff, information, doodads in my house, and, private confidential mayor information could be, compromised, so I can't have anybody in my house. But I want the rest of you to do it. You all should do it because it's a good idea. It's just not a good idea for me because, my house is a repository of so much top-secret information. What a bunch of horse shit. I mean, good God, lady. How much top-secret confidential information could you have in your house? And isn't that some kind of breach of ethics or something? I mean, how much are you even supposed to take confidential information home that's supposed to be under lock and key? And by the way, couldn't you just pick all that confidential information up and take it to your office and lock it in a state official building of some kind that has 24/7 security? Does it need to be in your house? I mean, clearly this is a bullshit excuse. Clearly. Because she doesn't want to do it. Oh, everybody else doing it is good. I'm going to virtue signal, and call for people to do this. But when somebody calls on me to practice what I'm preaching, oh no, I can't do it, but you need to do it. It's like a fat person person writing a dieting book and expecting you to follow their diet, but they can't be bothered to follow their own advice. Yeah, I'm going to write a book on dieting, but I'm 500 pounds. Yeah, who's going to follow that advice? You'd have to be an idiot to follow that advice, by the way. More liberal lunacy from the left. Let's billet the homeless. Yeah, and suck away some more resources from hardworking Americans that could be used to improve their lives and contribute to the economy, but let's give it to these leeches. So in addition to paying taxes, I get to billet somebody in my freaking house and risk my life. I mean, honestly, and risk my life and have to spend extra money out of my own goddamn paycheck to support this person who doesn't want to support themselves. Yeah, that's a real good idea. I don't think so. Yeah, let's redistribute some more wealth, huh? You socialist scumbags. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.